Trump is not going to happen. It's not going to happen. The entire point of, and you know what kind of effect this is going to have? This is going to make Donald Trump look anti-establishment again. Okay? That's the other problem. Donald Trump was the fucking president. The best thing he can do right now is distance himself from that experience. The best thing he can do is make people forget that he was the okay? And the only thing that could allow him to maybe move away from that is to say the Republican Party could not handle how real I was, and Ron DeSantis is the Republican Party, the rhinos, like the people in positions of power within the Republican Party personified. Now let's take a look. $61,000 in the space, nothing going on. Is it launching? Where's the video? I need to see. Isn't there a video too? He's going to call him Rhino Rhonda. What is happening? Why is it not working? No, there's got to be a video of it. I'm sure there's a video of it. No, this isn't what we're looking for. Wait, no, for real. What the fuck? It's audio only? No, there's no video at all? Well, it turns out it's not only that there's no video at all. There's no fucking audio at all, too. Details not available. Wait, what? Bro, what the fuck? Am I crazy? Is this like a me issue, or is it crashing for everyone? Can someone actually see it? Is there anyone out there that can fucking see it? They're getting prepared to launch it. Is it DDoS? Is crashing everyone? I can't even join. I'm not going to move it, and I'm not going to refresh this. It keeps going in and out of details not available. Wait, what the fuck? Wait, where? Kaya doesn't like no video. Kaya hates that there's no video. I refreshed Twitter Spaces, is no longer available on the homepage. Has anyone had access to the audio? Please. Guys, this isn't it. Stop sending me this fucking dumb shit. The Join Our America comeback is literally just his campaign launch. I'm gonna fucking kiss myself. Shut the fuck up. Stop sending me the same dumb shit over and over again. That's not the video, man. I'm in it. I just can't hear anything. Is there actual audio somewhere?
Twitter Elon town hall.
And Elon wants Trump back on Twitter, I think, more than anything on earth.
No, this is a different space.
I don't know Elon personally, but I can tell you, like, the guy's making memes of like a celibate monk looking at a woman of the night and like.
Yeah, that is just a random space, brother. That's just it. No audio on mobile app either. It's still preparing. God, this is such a fucking stupid way to... God, it's such a dumb way to start. Oh my God. Oh my fucking God, it's awesome. It's so sick. Relying on notorious con man Elon Musk and his fucking shit ass platform that he broke for your stupid fucking starting point for your campaign is so bad. It's so dumb. It's awesome. It's so fucking awesome. That's great. Just hand the W to Trump right now. We're in the space. I'm not moving. This is great. This is fucking great. This is so sick. Let's tune into Fox News Live right now. Let's see what they're talking about on Fox News Live or on CNN Live. Let's see what CNN's talking about. I'm sure they will tune in live to this. No?
They're expecting to hear that official announcement imminently. And Wolf, there's been a lot of talk about, will he do kind of a formal announcement with a speech in a crowd? And it's unclear at this point if he will do that. What we do know is that they have made a deliberate choice to do it in this way, and reminding everyone we are expecting it to be audio only. So we will only be hearing the announcement on Twitter Spaces, which allows only for audio. We will not be seeing it, Wolf.
All right, Jessica, stand by. I want to bring in our political experts for more analysis right now. Jeff Zeleny, he did just tweet that I am running for president. That's a significant moment in and of itself. But how do you expect him to make his case during this rather unconventional interview appearance on Twitter?
Well, if he certainly is going to introduce himself as the leading alternative to former President Donald Trump. He's a 44-year-old governor of Florida serving his second term. Of course, just about 6 months or so ago, he won by nearly 20% of the vote. That, of course, is going, or by 20 percentage points. That is going to be a much easier race than the one he is facing right now. He's going to, of course, be locked in a very competitive contest with Donald Trump. Those sparring back and forth has already begun, but we are just getting our first sense of a video that he sent out along with this tweet. He's talking about securing the borders. He's talking about inflation. He's talking about, as he explains it, the great American comeback. But what he needs to do is show that he is up for the task. So he's going to essentially present the Florida blueprint, as he calls it, those conservative laws that he has signed into a law in Florida as a calling card to states across the country. The question is how those will be received. In the primary,
there was audio
primary
here.
Voters, they certainly, many of them welcome that. Among other voters, they may not. So he is certainly entering.
Right. Good afternoon, good evening, or good morning, everyone, depending on wherever in the world you're joining us from. I'm broadcasting live from Twitter headquarters. It's David Sachs here. Elon is sitting next to me, and we want to welcome you to this historic Twitter Spaces event, and more broadly, a first in the history of social media. Tonight, I'm pleased to introduce two individuals who've done more to loosen the.
It's so what? No, double audio and then muted. No fucking way. No fucking way, dog. No fucking way. All it took was 245,000 people to break this. Twitch has better servers, man. Who do you have running the fucking website on the back end, brother?
All right, sorry about that. We've got so many people here that I think we are kind of melting the servers. Which is a good sign.
263,000 melts the servers?
I'd like to just introduce the folks in the room here. So it's safe to say we wouldn't be making history without the man sitting next to me, Elon Musk. His decision to purchase this platform last year to restore it to its original mission as a beacon for free speech, and even to expose Twitter's past complicity with a government censorship regime might have surprised many, but not those of us who've known and worked with Elon for nearly a quarter century. His commitment to freedom and his willingness to put his money where his mouth is, upset the narrative control imposed on us by our government, elite institutions, and corporate media. Go ahead and send a heart up if you want to say thank you, Elon. Governor DeSantis first drew my attention and support when I saw how he responded to the COVID pandemic, and refused to believe what we now know to be the many falsehoods that government experts and their media mouthpieces were feeding us. He kept Florida's schools open and its economy thriving, while my state of California chose 2 years of learning loss and lockdowns that we have yet to fully.
Dude, what? Ron DeSantis left? Is this a throw? Oh my, what is happening? Did he do this on purpose for Donald Trump? What is going on, man? Oh my God, this is so bad. Oh my God, it's so bad. It's so bad. It's so bad. It's so bad. It's not just bad for DeSantis. It's so bad for Elon Musk too. What a fucking clown ass, dude. It's so pathetic that it feels like this was a deliberate throw. Like Ron was the sacrificial lamb and Elon was like, yes, I'm going to throw my entire platform apart for you, Mr. Trump. Like what? That is mind-boggling to me that it is so fucking broken. Oh my Lord. I don't want to touch anything because I don't want to lose anything. There's nothing. If 200,000 people can't listen to audio on...
We on? Yeah, I think so.
Just to simplify this.
This is so funny. Bro, this is like a high school project.
I think we're just going to use your... There's 382,000 people in the room.
All right, great. So let's see.
So they just keep crashing, huh?
They're hot miking.
Just a
They're hot miking.
Online.
They're hot miking.
Servers are straining somewhat.
Oh, dude, you could not have written a better, more poetic situation. Oh my God. Oh my fucking God. Donald Trump is going to fuck Elon Musk after this, okay? He is going to have butt sex with Elon Musk and his entire family. He is going to fuck Ron DeSantis and Elon Musk together, okay?
Right, we're just reallocating.
He's going to grow a second and third dick to fuck them at the same time. What the fuck?
So, yeah,
What is going on?
I'm
How?
excited to have Governor DeSantis make this.
Oh my God! Whoa! They're so bad! Oh! They're so fucking bad. Oh my God, this is so bad. This is so bad. Please never tell me billionaires are the smartest motherfuckers on the planet ever again. Never tell me that billionaires are the smartest motherfuckers on the planet ever again. This is the wealthiest billionaire. Calm down, Kaya. We got to be here for this. History is being made right now. $44 billion. Can't operate an audio-only space, dude. That is brilliant. That is bold. That is beautiful. It is so funny, and it was so predictable. I fucking tweeted about it on the platform that we're on. Oh my God, dude. Oh my God. I don't know if Elon Musk knows this, but like, the radio was capable of doing this, what they're doing right now, like a AM radio was capable of doing what they're trying to do right now in like the 20s, the 30s, the 40s. So really bad. I mean, really, really fucking bad overall. If you think I'm going to refresh, you're out of your fucking mind. No, if I refresh, I will absolutely be kicked out of coverage. There's no shot I'm touching it. Open an incognito. Wait, what do you mean? Is there actually audio somewhere and I'm not hearing it? Is there actually audio somewhere and I'm not hearing it? Is there actually audio and I'm not the one hearing it? No, there's no audio. So why the fuck would I refresh?
Okay. So,
no, there is no audio on David Pacman's live stream either. You're just trying to promote David Pacman's live stream. You're so funny, dude. No, there is no audio on any of the live streams that are trying to fucking watch it. You're just trying to use this as an opportunity to literally, first of all, an audio-only presidential campaign announcement is so fucking dumb. Trying to do it on Twitter is the dumbest thing you could have done. The absolute dumbest, the stupidest thing you could have done, because you relied on the biggest con man on the fucking planet. It is so incredibly toast. It is so fucking stupid. Bro, do you think this will have lasting ramifications for DeSantis' campaign? Does DeSantis have a campaign? Does DeSantis' campaign even exist? I don't know. He hasn't announced that he's running for it yet. Also, not only that, but like, the campaign already was slated to fail, but he thought he could do a gimmicky thing. And now the gimmick is that he relied on a fucking stupid con man that was going to deliver him something that he never had the capability of delivering. Now, Elon has done this his entire fucking career. Okay? Elon's done this his entire career. But the best part about this, I love this. You want to know why I love this? Because the best part about this is that a lot of eyeballs are on this. So I don't even give a fuck about Ron DeSantis getting owned in this circumstance. I give a fuck about people and the hundreds of thousands of eyeballs that are on this looking at Elon and seeing how fucking stupid he is. Okay? I've moved beyond Elon Musk. I've moved beyond Ron DeSantis. Ron DeSantis was never a person to begin with. He was never a competition to begin with. Donald Trump was going to make mincemeat out of him. He was going to call him Little Rhonda or a meatball, and it would have been fucking over. Joe Biden's team is making fun of him. No way. He said, this link works. Look alive, Jack. This is beautiful. This is poetry in motion. This is everything that you would have expected. Tucker Carlson's probably sitting there shitting out of his doo-doo ass right now, thinking about how fucking awful his career is. Like, thinking about how awful his career is now. What he went from the most popular news commentator in the fucking country, okay, to this is what's going to happen to Tucker as well, because you fucking idiots relied on a billionaire who has presented himself as this like brilliant Tony Stark motherfucker. Meritocracy is a lie, and Elon Musk proves it at every step of the way. But another thing Elon Musk proves, as a matter of fact, is the reality that there are so many stupid fuckers out there who don't care that he's a fucking dumb baboon, who keeps failing every step of the way, who has failed. Audio's back. He's hot micing again on my end. Why is he not? What the fuck? Give me another server where it like actually is hot micing. Let's see. I'm gonna try to join again. It says preparing to launch here. It's not actually launching. I'll go to CNN. Maybe they'll show it. Maybe they're live streaming it.
Major news we're following, including the pressure growing right now on President Biden and House Speaker McCarthy to reach a deal on.
Wait. He did hot mic a little bit. Dog, just open page in new tab. You can keep the one you're still open. I have it. I have it on the other. Oh, everybody shut the fuck up. I'm on the other page. I have it. I have it over here as well. Okay. This is yet another Twitter Spaces tab that I have, and I keep refreshing it with hopes that I can get something. It ended. It didn't end on my end. Oh my God. 21 minutes of silence is what we got? With 3 hot mic moments, this is all we got? 21 minutes of silence? They're talking now? Where, motherfucker? We can play the recording if you want.
Past complicity with a government. The history of social media. Tonight, I'm pleased to introduce 2 individuals who've done more to support when I saw how he responded to the COVID pandemic and refused to.
Wait, what? They did do it. That's awesome.
Who've done more history. Or good morning, everyone, depending on wherever in the world you're joining us from. I'm broadcasting live from Twitter headquarters. It's David Sachs here. Elon is sitting next to me, and we want to welcome you to this historic Twitter Spaces event, and more broadly, a first in the history of social media. Tonight, I'm pleased to introduce 2 individuals who've done more to loosen the.
That's incredible.
Melting the servers, which is a good sign. All right, I'd like to just introduce the folks in the room here. So it's safe to say we wouldn't be making history without the man sitting next to me, Elon Musk. His decision to purchase this platform last year to restore it to its original mission as a beacon for free speech, and even to expose Twitter's past complicity with a government censorship regime might have surprised many, but not those of us who've known and worked with Elon for nearly a quarter century. His commitment to freedom and his willingness to put his money where his mouth is upset the narrative control imposed on us by our government, elite institutions, and corporate media. Go ahead and send a heart up if you want to say thank you, Elon. Governor DeSantis first drew my attention.
It's so funny to glaze up Elon as everything is blowing apart.
And refused to believe what we now know to be the many falsehoods that government experts and their media mouthpieces were feeding us. He kept Florida's schools open and its economy thriving, while my state of California chose 2 years of learning loss and lockdowns that we have yet to fully.
That's fire. He's on David Sachs. It's not over. Where is David Sachs? Is he actually interviewing him right now? Wait.
All right, here we go.
That's awesome. I hope this breaks too. I hope this fucking breaks as well. That's so funny. Elon Musk. Oh my God, is it breaking again?
All right, I think we're broadcasting. Man, I think we melted the internet there.
Yeah, that was insane. Sorry. We actually doing this from David Sachs's Twitter account because it looks like doing it from mine basically broke the Twitter system. Anyway, thanks everyone for joining. We're incredibly excited to announce to have Governor DeSantis on with us for this historic announcement, and then look forward to live Q&A from the audience. So, yeah, with that.
Yeah, I mean, so Governor DeSantis, are you there? Can you hear us? I think you.
I'm here.
Excellent. I know. I think.
I'm here. Oh, finally, the bell of the ball.
Twitter Space, and it was growing by like 50,000 a minute. So, congrats on breaking the internet there.
Well, yeah. Try some new things.
You didn't break shit. It's 400,000 people. You fucking idiot.
But so, I think
400,000 people for audio.
For people to hear directly from presidential candidates and to answer a Q&A live, and you can get a sense for how a candidate really is, and where it's not just canned speeches and teleprompters. It's in fact, you can tell by the some of the mistakes that it's real.
Yeah.
So, with that, I guess I should turn it over to.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
let's see. So, yeah, Governor, there's been a lot of speculation over the last couple of months about your plans. I understand that you may have an announcement to make. We've got, I think, a record audience assembled here.
A record for you
probably
doesn't
the
mean
biggest
a record. What the fuck?
room that's probably ever been assembled online. What would you like to tell them?
Well, I am running for president of the United States to lead our great American comeback. Look, we know our country's going in the wrong direction. We see it with our eyes and we feel it in our bones. Our southern borders collapse. Drugs are pouring into the country. Our cities are being hollowed out by spiking crime. The federal government's making it harder for the average family to make ends meet and to attain and maintain a middle class lifestyle. And our president, well, he lacks vigor, flounders in the face of our nation's challenges, and he takes his cues from the woke mob. I don't think it has to be this way. American decline is not inevitable, it is a choice. And we should choose a new direction, a path that will lead to American revitalization. We must restore sanity to our nation. This means embracing fiscal and
Is he a
economic
Democrat?
sanity. Stop pricing hardworking Americans out of a good standard of living through inflationary borrow, print, and spending policies, and please embrace American energy independence. This also means replacing the woke mind virus with reality, facts, and enduring principles. Merit must trump identity.
He said we got to cut
We
spending.
must return normalcy to our communities.
That was
America's
the
a
first.
sovereign
That's your first
country.
policy.
Our
Donald Trump's
borders
going to eat
must
your
be
ass.
respected. We cannot have foreigners pouring into our country illegally by the millions. We cannot allow drug cartels to poison our population with fentanyl. Public deserves safe communities, and law and order must be maintained in American cities. We can't have inmates running the asylum, and we must reject attacks on the men and women of law enforcement. We also must reestablish integrity in our institutions. This includes the military. I'm proud to be a Navy veteran, an Iraq veteran, and I revere our services. But when revered institutions like those in our military are more concerned with matters not central to the mission, whether it's
so
global warming or
scripted.
gender ideology,
He's trying to do Trump, but with civility, and it's so
morale declines,
scripted.
and
It
recruiting
has no
suffers.
pizzazz.
And you need to eliminate these distractions, and we need to get focused on the core mission. We also cannot have true constitutional government if the most significant issues are decided by the whims of unelected bureaucrats rather than the people's elected representatives. Reestablishing integrity in our institutions means we must reinvigorate our constitutional system by returning the government to its rightful owners, we the people. No social or economic transformation without representation. Truth needs to be our foundation. Common sense can no longer be an uncommon virtue. And in Florida, we proved it could be done. We chose facts over fear, education over indoctrination, law and order over rioting and disorder. We held the line when freedom hung in the balance. And we're thriving as a result. Florida is the nation's fastest growing state. We're number one in net in-migration, number one in new business formations, recently ranked number one in education. We have a 50-year low crime rate and one of the lowest.
This is the highest it
tax
goes,
and
chat.
debt per
Shut the fuck up.
capita in America. But we also understand governing is not entertainment. It's not about building a brand or virtue signaling. It is about delivering results. And our results in Florida have been second to none. We can and we must deliver big results for America. I pledge to be an energetic executive that will take on the important issues.
Is he trying to win
Biden's
Democrats
pursued
over? Like, is
inflationary
that what he's
policies that are
going
hurting
for? Because
working
it's so
people. We will
stupid.
reverse those policies, and we'll build an economy where working Americans can achieve a good standard of living.
Democrats don't vote in the
Biden's opened
Republican
southern
primary, you
border and
fucking
allowed
idiot.
massive amounts of drugs to pour into the country. We'll shut down the border, construct a border wall, and hold the drug cartels accountable. Biden's embraced medical authoritarianism.
He must believe that Trump is for sure going to prison or something.
We will ensure that those violations of liberty
Otherwise,
will never
there's no
happen
shot.
again. Biden's allowed woke ideology to drive his agenda. We will never surrender to the woke mob, and we will leave woke ideology in the dustbin of history. Biden's also politicized the military and caused recruiting to plummet. We will eliminate ideological agendas from our military, focus the military on the core mission, and we will reverse the
He's
poor
like, we're gonna make the
recruiting
military
trend.
Nazi again. Let's
Finally,
go.
Biden's weaponized the power of the administrative state to advance his left-wing agenda. We will reconstitutionalize the executive branch, and we'll bring the administrative state to heel. Now, you can't do any of that if you don't win. There is no substitute for victory. We must end the culture of losing that has infected the Republican Party in recent years. The tired dogmas of the past are inadequate for a vibrant future. We must look forward, not backwards. We need the courage to lead, and we must have the strength
Obama!
to win. And to voters who are
Obama!
participating in this primary process, my pledge to you is this. If you nominate me, you can set your clock to January 20th, 2025 at high noon, because on the west side of the U.S. Capitol, I will be taking the oath of office as the 47th President of the United States. No excuses. I will get the job done. Now, these past few years have given me
Wait,
a new
if you vote for me, I
appreciation
will
for the
win.
fragility of our freedoms. I never
That's
thought I would
so
see
dumb.
things in America that we saw during the COVID-19 pandemic, but our founding fathers were keenly aware of the fragility of freedom. When they framed our Constitution, they came armed with having studied the history of every republic and the history of mankind, and they noticed that all of those experiments only had one thing in common, and it was this. Every single one of them.
I'm not kidding. I
failed.
think
And so
Kamala
they
would be
knew it fell
competitive
to
against
our
DeSantis.
country,
That's
the
how
United
bad he
States
is.
of America, to determine whether people could really govern themselves. Could we have a society based on the idea that our rights are God-given, not government-granted, and that society functions based on the rule of law, not the rule of individual men? And when Dr. Benjamin Franklin walked out of that convention, he was asked, did you deliver a republic or a monarchy? He said, a republic if you can keep it. They knew freedom didn't run on autopilot. They knew each generation would have a responsibility to safeguard freedom, and it's our responsibility to do so at this important juncture in our nation's history. We have a lot of work to do to ensure the country gets back on track. I ask everybody listening to please join me on this mission. Please invest in our campaign by going to rondesantis.com and making a donation. Thank you. God bless, and I look forward to the discussion.
All right, thank you, Governor. Appreciate that.
That's it?
I guess just as a first follow-up here, thank you for putting up with these technical issues. I think we're definitely breaking new ground here.
Bro,
as far as I know,
I would kiss
no major
myself.
presidential candidate has ever announced their candidacy.
I would kiss myself after this. I would literally just be like, nope.
In a Twitter space. So
nope.
Thank you for doing that.
I can't walk around.
What made you want to kind of take the chance of doing it this way, as opposed to just doing it on
I can't walk around in public after this shit. No way.
Well, when COVID hit, I had to make decisions about, do you go with the crowd or do you look at the data yourself and cut against the grain? And I chose to do the latter. I faced huge blowback for doing that from the bureaucracy, from elites, from the media. But my view was I had to look out for the people I represented, prefer protecting their jobs over trying to safeguard my own political hide. But it was very, very lonely in a lot of those decisions. And part of the reason it was so lonely is because there was a concerted effort to try to stifle dissent. There was an official narrative about lockdowns, about closing schools, about forced masking, about all these different things that we had to navigate during COVID.
If these pussies don't ask him about Trump, they're such fraudulent bitches, dude.
In conjunction with the federal government. And if we can't have an honest debate in a free country about issues that affect hundreds of millions of people, like lockdowns.
He did not post this. Shut the fuck up.
What good is the First Amendment at that point? Those are precisely the times when we needed to have debate be robust. You should not be taking down articles that criticize those draconian policies, and yet that's exactly what happened. So it occurred to me that if that had continued, I think free speech in this country was on its way out the door. And so when Elon Musk stepped up to purchase Twitter, he paid a lot of money for it.
If he did, he would win the
I'm
general.
sure because he's a good businessman, Elon, I'm sure you'll end up making money off it. But bottom line is you had to put your money where your mouth is because I think you recognize that you can't have a free society unless we have the freedom to debate the most important issues that are affecting our civilization. That did not happen during COVID. The truth was censored repeatedly. And now that Twitter is in the hands of a free speech advocate, that would not be able to happen again on this Twitter platform. So I think what was done with Twitter is really significant for the future of our country. We cannot have a society in which government is colluding with major tech platforms to enforce an orthodoxy.
Well, thank you. Yeah, we're absolutely committed to freedom of speech and a level playing field, and just a vigorous debate. And hopefully, this can be a platform that brings people of divergent political views to exchange those views, and perhaps some minds will be changed one way or the other. And but it's just incredibly important, as you highlight, that the First Amendment is irrelevant if all the media and all the and the government.
Bro, you're talking to the guy who violates it every day. He's Mr. Bookburner, you fucking idiot.
Most important amendment, the one that was most urgently added to the Constitution, moot if you cannot have free and open debate. So Twitter was indeed expensive, but free speech is priceless.
Awesome. Thank you.
Awesome.
So, Governor, I'm going to ask some questions while we get some other kind of speakers in the queue.
It's so sick for David Sachs to take Elon's cock out of his mouth to ask questions around DeSantis, only to ask questions that he truly cares about to Elon.
I want to ask you about some of these accusations that are being leveled at you. Last week, the NAACP issued a travel advisory against your state, claiming that Florida is not a safe place for minorities to visit. What do you say to those who've been advised that somehow they aren't welcome in your state?
Claiming that Florida is unsafe is a total farce. I mean, are you kidding me? You look at cities around this country, they are awash in crime. In Florida, our crime rate is at a 50-year low. If you look at the top 25 cities for crime in America, Florida does not have a single one amongst the top 25. And if you look at cities like Baltimore and Chicago, you got kids more likely to get shot than to receive a first-class education. Yet I don't see the NAACP.
Florida is just a little under the national violent crime rate.
Happening in those areas. So this
just
is
a little bit
stunt. These left-wing groups have been doing it for many, many years. And at the end of the day, what they're doing is colluding with legacy media to try to manufacture a narrative. Now, the good news is fewer and fewer Americans are gullible enough to believe this dribble. And
nowhere near as low as like California,
where people can debunk these lies in real time. And I would just say, as an American citizen, if you are uncritically accepting narratives spun by legacy media and left-wing groups, you're failing at your job of being a conscientious citizen. And I think people just see right through it. And oh, by the way, have any of these travel advisories, because they've been doing this for a while, all these left-wing groups, have any of them worked? Well, we're the #1 state for net in-migration and have been every year since I've been governor. We just capped the highest quarter for tourism in the history of the state of Florida. And our view is we want everybody to succeed regardless of their skin color. We don't divvy up people by race. At the same time,
people are trying to see it one last time before it sinks.
That we have in Florida more Black-owned businesses than any state in the nation. And we've also had more African Americans lead state agencies.
I just want to see it one last time, bro.
Than at any time in Florida history. But with us, they're there because of merit, not because we're trying to play identity politics. And if you want to look at education, the Black students in Florida perform much higher than Black students in most other states. We rank #3 in 4th grade reading and #2 in 4th grade math amongst our Black students.
What about other grades?
And oh, by the way, the head of the NAACP lives in Florida, and a lot of their board members have put out on social media during my governorship Florida vacations where they seem to be having an awful good time.
That's great. Well, I mean, Florida's a great state, and I think everyone,
it's actually a good own, except he's so uncharismatic, he can't even deliver it well.
I mean, I saw some.
That's literally a great own. He should have just said, if they hate Florida so much, why do they live here?
Listens to this Spaces on Twitter is basically a Nazi.
Or yeah, that was the Atlantic, and then
Atlantic,
Vanity Fair said that that you were hosting or interviewing because David Duke wasn't available.
Oh yes.
Although I'm not totally sure who they were saying was David Duke. I don't know if it was you or Governor DeSantis. It's sort of a little bit unclear, but
I think this is a function of the legacy media, these corporate journals. They're in their little bubble. And to draw allusions to stuff like that, I mean, how crazy do you have to be? But in their little bubble, it sounds like they're making some type of profound point. And so part of, I think, what Twitter
It's a joke,
is
and it's not even a good one.
is
Why are you
people
so
should be
bent?
exposed
They
to
make it seem
different
like that's the
viewpoints. And I think
narrative
the elites
overall.
in
You're
our
not,
society have tried to
brother. You are not as
themselves
scary as
to
Donald
where their
Trump to these
assumptions
people.
are never
Okay, you will
challenged.
never be
And
him.
that's not a good way, I think, to live. It's also not a good way to be a critical thinker, because no one's ever going to question obviously wrong assumptions, because everybody around you shares them.
Absolutely.
And I think they become totally
critical
hysterical
thinking.
because
Shut
they
the
don't like
fuck
the
up. Donald
idea
Trump does
that
not
their
do critical
control
thinking.
over the media is being, disintermediated.
Yeah.
Because now, candidates for president can just speak directly to people through platforms like Twitter.
Yeah, I mean, the amazing thing about Twitter and things like Spaces are that, although I happen to be hosting it, I had to switch over to David hosting it because my account was actually
there's too much interest.
But my account was breaking the system, but there's really never been a mechanism before where someone could address the nation, or anyone who wanted to listen to them could from anywhere in the world.
I know. AOC gave a
United States
shout
or
out.
anywhere.
I said,
So
let's run it back. I
this is
replied to her. I
think
said,
this
let's
is-
run
this
it back.
is a really profound change.
Juice it.
And it's also like it's not just whether the media reports something and an article is true or not. Even more powerful is deciding what the narrative is. And
Totally.
so, so just like if there's only so much you can actually fit in a newspaper or a magazine.
Juice it.
And there's only one thing you can really put on the cover of a magazine. So that whoever's deciding that is deciding to not talk about other things. Whereas with a public digital town square like we have here,
Bro, they're glazing Twitter Spaces
public
more than they're
to choose the
glazing
narrative. It
DeSantis. This
empowers
is so
people
awesome.
Instead of
When
a very
Twitter Spaces
tiny,
has demonstrably been a failure.
which I don't recognize the irony of me using that phrase. But
What are you
nonetheless,
saying right now?
It's true, and you judge by the results that this is a means for the people to decide the narrative, and for the people to decide which way a debate will go. Not sort of 5 editors-in-chiefs of a few newspapers, basically.
Yeah, and I think one of the really crazy things that happened during COVID is that social networks really started censoring dissenting viewpoints on COVID, medical viewpoints that ended up being totally correct in lockstep with what the mainstream media was doing. So basically, big tech platforms were undermining their main reason for existing, which is giving people a choice. And actually, there's somebody who I think knows more about that than any of us, which is Dr. Jay Bhattacharya, who's a professor of medicine at Stanford. I want to pull him in here. Jay, you go ahead and unmute yourself if you can. It'd be great to hear from you. I know that during COVID, you worked with Governor DeSantis. It'd be great just to hear a little bit about your interactions and if you have a question for the governor.
Yeah, thank you, David. Yeah, I mean, it was an absolute honor to work with Governor DeSantis, and I was really impressed by his decision making in the face of an absolute firestorm of criticism.
AOC replied.
But Governor, you did the right thing when you opened the schools. And my kids in California for a year and a half.
We found something good to come out of all of this.
Let's
go.
Whereas Florida kids were in school, and you can see it in the results. And the learning loss numbers are so much better in Florida. I'm really curious, Governor. As you're running for president, what are your thoughts about reforming, the public health authority in the United States and the federal government, the CDC, the FDA, the NIH? How do you see the reforms we need so that the mistakes of the lockdowns that happened during the pandemic don't happen again when there's another pandemic?
Well, first, we need an honest reckoning about what happened during COVID. And the only honest reckoning is that all of those agencies, all of the elites, the public health establishment, they failed. They instituted bad
Society has
policies.
moved beyond COVID.
Obviously, it's a novel virus.
Constantly talking about how good you were during lockdowns is only going to win the governorship.
That the path
That's
they were
it.
on was wrong.
That's as far as it goes,
They
bitch.
doubled down and wanted to do it even more. And I really believe had Florida not just kind of stood in the way, I think this country would have had rolling lockdowns for probably a 2-year period. And so their impulses were authoritarian. They were not following the data. And I think the U.S. government needs to acknowledge the failures. And I think all of those agencies need to be cleaned out. What I saw just dealing with them was I saw a interest in the narrative and in politics over evidence-based reasoning and evidence-based medicine.
Millions of people
And so I
died,
don't have
but like the
confidence
American
that those
psyche
agencies
has
are
moved
up to
beyond
the task.
COVID.
And I think you need major
And the only
overhaul
people who
of
still
the
talk about
whole
COVID
enchilada
are
with
people who are
respect to
either
public health in this country.
pro-maskers, who understandably, disability advocates and whatnot,
with that?
or
I mean, I
the people
think
who are
the,
anti-maskers who think about like the
other
good
thing that
old
I
days and
saw
how
during
far
the
they got
pandemic,
fucked
Governor,
over.
you was
And that
subject
is
to it just
in
as
the
much as
edges
I
of
was
society.
when we were
The broad
talking about
majority
COVID.
does not care.
YouTube censored a video of us
Bringing that back
speaking
is not a
about, in
viable
roundtable that you
campaign
hosted
strategy.
on COVID policy. There's so much of the federal government infrastructure went
Especially
into
for the broad
suppressing
majority, they
honest
don't want to
scientific
think about
discussion during
COVID.
the pandemic. So it's not just public health agencies, but other agencies inside the federal government that worked to suppress the speech of Americans. And I'd love to hear
That's
your thoughts
hilarious.
No question. So
Copium started.
Recognize the danger there. So I'm actually going to be signing a digital bill of rights for Florida pretty soon, which will bar all state and local government officials from colluding or working with a technology company for the purpose of censorship of speech. Because you're exactly right. You had people in the White House, you had people in all these other agencies working with these platforms to try to take it down. And oh, by the way, what did they censor Dr. Bhattacharya for? It was a roundtable discussion that I led and convened. We had Dr. Bhattacharya, MD, PhD from Stanford. We had Martin Kulldorff from Harvard Medical School, and we had Sunetra Gupta from Oxford, who was generally viewed as one of the best epidemiologists across the pond until she became anti-lockdown. So these are all eminent people.
This is pretty funny.
Discussing? We're discussing whether there's any scientific
Trump
basis
did that.
to force a school child to wear a mask for 8 hours a day. They all agreed there was no basis to do it and that you should not have school mask mandates. YouTube thought that that was, quote, anti-science and that should be taken down. But even at that point, we had already had enough experience in Florida where you had some schools that had done it before the state banned the mandates.
This is so stupid, like a digital bill of rights. Yeah,
well,
how about you ask Elon about the digital bill of rights, about what he did
Google, YouTube.
with Recep Tayyip Erdogan.
Huge problem. And yes, I think the federal government, FBI,
They don't give a fuck about collaborating with governments.
any of the health agencies, it's unconstitutional for them to be delegating speech restriction to a private company. You can't do indirectly what the Constitution would clearly forbid you to do directly.
Let me pull in. We have Congressman Thomas Massey.
Hassan Piker.
You're there. Go ahead and unmute yourself. I mean, what we're talking about here is, I think, really unconstitutional actions by federal agencies. Congressman Massey, I know that you've been involved in this problem of government agencies being weaponized and used against the American people in an inappropriate way. Do you have a comment on this? And do you have a question for Governor DeSantis?
Well, first of all, let me say a big thank you to Elon Musk for buying Twitter and exposing all of this. On our weaponization committee, we wouldn't know so much of it if he hadn't done this, almost as a public service to the First Amendment. It's a disturbing trend. Government, as the governor said, the government is colluding with big corporations. We found out this week from an FBI.
Bro, they're riding Elon harder than DeSantis right now.
Voluntarily gave names of and information on.
They're doing tricks on it, dude.
In Washington D.C. from January 5th.
They're doing tricks on it.
Overlaid that with gun purchases that they had on record anywhere in the country for any period of time, and just they say they voluntarily gave that to the FBI. So that's disturbing to me. By the way, I've never met Elon Musk, but I'm one of your biggest fans. I'm the first congressman to have a Tesla. I'm on Starlink, And I would have bought a Powerwall, but I'm off the grid, and you wouldn't sell me one, so I had to make one with a wrecked Model S, and it's been running our house for 5 years. But my
And just for the record,
Elon, do a Nintendo. Drone strike his house, bro.
Our first year as
He bricked your fucking shit.
But his license plate is Kentucky Coal.
The dick went all the way through.
Would have that in the country.
Bro,
thanks for
I
outing me,
know.
Governor DeSantis.
I know now why they actually went with the audio only.
Governor DeSantis, my question
I know now why they did that. So you get see them sucking each other's cocks.
with me, and why is it that Congress is so feckless at reining in these government agencies, and what do you think we need to do? And if you were president, what would you urge Congress, or what bills would you like to see and sign to rein in this sort of overreach of government bureaucracy?
Well, first, I think there's a lot that the executive branch can do, and all I will say when it comes
Spinning
to
on the dick like he's a Costco chicken, goddamn.
But buckle up when I get in there, because the status quo is not acceptable, and we are going to make sure that we reconstitutionalize this government. And these agencies are totally out of control. There's no accountability, and we are going to bring that in a very big way. Now, part of the reason it's gotten so bad, power has been consolidated and effectively a fourth branch of government, because Congress hasn't used its two main powers that it has under the Constitution. First, the power of the purse. If an agency is engaging in conduct that is outside the realm of what is legal, or you think it's not good for the public interest, then you can remove the funding for those operations. There's nothing that they're not entitled to get the same level of funding every year, and yet Congress runs the government on autopilot, either continuing resolutions or massive omnibus spending bills. So these agencies are all bulletproof. They know that they're going to end up getting something similar or more every single year, and it creates an incentive for them to abuse their power. The other thing you can do is actually legislate, so you're not delegating to the bureaucracy key issues regarding how to enforce federal law. You should define what you want.
I don't think he realizes that
implement.
getting into the weeds of policy is never going to be good
invitation for the
and popular.
To make really important,
because there's always way more policy driven nerds than you that are going to rip it apart, and it's not even fun for the broader majority.
Do things that are going to transform our society or our country. That is
Elizabeth Warren
founding fathers drew
is the greatest example I can think of.
So would you sign the REINS Act? We passed it out of Judiciary today.
Oh, yeah, no, of course. Yeah, that's a no-brainer. That would, I think, be a great check for that. I also think that we're going to have a good chance to see some of this Chevron deference really curtailed, or maybe even eliminated based on the U.S.
Sauger is right.
Upcoming jurisprudence. And I think that's another reason why the bureaucracy has become so powerful, because courts have basically been told they can pretty much do what they want, and courts are supposed to just defer. I don't think that that's actually correct. I think the courts, they have to make a judgment about what does the law actually say, and you can't
disaster
to quote unquote experts in the bureaucracy.
Thank you.
Oh, it's back. We're back.
Right,
we're so back. We're so back, baby. Disaster. I didn't even think of that.
They blamed you for canceling
Ron disaster.
For $1 billion investment in Florida. Said they were canceling 2,000 jobs. I saw other reports that suggested Disney was going to make the cuts anyway, and due to a larger, budget cutting initiative. Regardless of why they did it, why do you feel your fight with Disney remains important, considering you already beat them on the parental rights bill that they opposed? And what would you say to some of your opponents in this race who argue that the fight has dragged on too long?
The dumbest thing he could have done is also go against Murdoch.
Protection of children. We believe jamming gender ideology in elementary school is wrong. Disney obviously supported injecting gender ideology in elementary school. They did oppose our parents' rights legislation. And the fact is, when they opposed it, that was a big deal, because for 50
Tweeted David
years,
Sachs to let you speak. Yeah, he's not
Disney
doing that. Let's
wanted
be real.
something in Florida politics, they pretty much got it. But not this time. I signed the bill. We did, as you say, win on the issue. But what happened was Disney's posturing, some of the other statements that their executives were making, kind of the corporate culture, had really been outed as trying to inject matters of sex into the programming for the youth. And I think a lot of parents, including me, look at that and say, that's not appropriate. I mean, we want our kids to be able to just be kids. And that's kind of our mantra. So you had this setup that Disney engineered many decades ago, where they actually had their own government that they controlled with no accountability. They were exempt from the laws that all their competitors had to follow, massive tax breaks, and they even racked up municipal debt. And Florida basically put them on a pedestal many decades ago and joined the state with this one company at the hip. We just didn't feel that we were comfortable maintaining that relationship.
So
and so
boring,
we ended
dude.
their
Boring
self-governing status. So Disney has to live under the same laws as everybody. They got to pay the same taxes as everybody. And obviously they'll be responsible for those debts. So the reason why there's a quote fight is just because they filed a lawsuit against the state of Florida.
We're rocking with
trying
Trump.
to get
Boring. We're voting for Trump in the Republican primaries.
But I don't think that that's good policy. And I think some of these Republicans that are taking Disney's side, they're basically showing themselves to be corporatists, because these are all corporate goodies. This is not the way you would run a competitive economy. And the arrangement had really outlived its usefulness, but it persisted because Disney was so politically powerful. I think the company's ethos have changed in a way that's alienated a lot of people in our legislature and in Florida, and so there was really no justification to keep it. But
do I think little Rhonda has a chance of beating Trump in the primaries? No, he never did, and he certainly has solidified that he won't now. The problem is, like, it's so stupid that it makes me feel like maybe his goal is to just like assume that Trump goes to prison.
I think that they should withdraw the lawsuit, but obviously we're going to defend our actions because we think we have the right to do what we did.
Because like, who is he triangulating for here? It makes no sense.
Used to criticize Republicans for being in the pocket of big corporations, and now they're attacking you because you're not.
Well, not only that, David, it's interesting because the media in Florida for years had hammered Disney, and they would point out like that this was not a good arrangement, because Disney was not accountable to anyone. I mean, when the state control board took over this district, the firefighters came to the board and they said, hey, we weren't getting survivor benefits for some of these widows. And so the state control board actually paid out some of the benefits that they were getting stiffed on. There were a lot of people in Central Florida who were really thankful that there was some accountability being brought to bear, because, I mean, it's human nature. If there's no accountability over any individual or entity, of course, they're going to behave differently than if you have normal accountability. But the media was always very hostile to that. But just because I happen to be involved in bringing it back to reality and making sure that they were under the same laws, well, then all of a sudden they're running to Disney's defense. I mean, are you kidding me? And oh, by the way, on this project, they had announced this many years ago. They had not done anything for it, but that is actually not
also
in Reedy
bonus
Green.
points
So
for
that was
Elon's
not
mic
part
being
of
louder
Orlando.
than Rhonda's.
So none of the issues that are involved in their suit would have made a difference there. Obviously, as a publicly traded corporation, they have a fiduciary duty to do what's best for their shareholders. So I'm assuming if they were in better financial shape and they saw the project as lucrative, they would have gone forward with it. But I think clearly they've had some problems with their stock price and a lot of other issues. And I'd also just finally point out,
Elon is not catching Tracer because he has a bunch of dick riders.
More money than me because they were open during COVID and they were closed in California, and that went on for many, many months. Where literally, I had all the theme parks.
I'm gonna take her out real quick.
Opened in 2020. People are going. It's safe. They're having fun. And the California parks were closed. I think they were closed for over a year out in California. So we were, I think, a much better place to be doing business, certainly since I've been governor.
Great. Let me shift gears here to the topic of education. I want to pull Chris Rufo into the conversation. I know he worked with you on some initiatives. I think, one other thing that the mainstream media has, I think, bashed on is they've kind of started promoting this narrative that you want to ban books from school libraries. You refuse to teach kids about slavery or other unpleasant realities of American history, or pretend that gay people don't exist. Since many people, I think, in this room, we're now up to, over 271,000 people. So this is, I think, totally unprecedented in terms of the numbers of people we have participating. By the way, I think Twitter's working much better now. I think it crashed because when you multiply 500,000 people in a room by an account with over 100 million followers, which is Elon's account, I think that creates just a scalability level that was unprecedented. But with my meager followership, it seems to be working much better.
Yeah, no, it's we have some scaling issues specifically related to my account. At one point in January, if I tweeted above a certain size, it would crash the servers.
Yeah.
And then anyone else who was tweeting at the same time would lose their tweet as well.
So in any
there's some
event,
scaling
yeah,
issues.
yeah. Well, we're breaking new ground here.
Oh yeah, totally,
Yes,
dude.
we know you're breaking
Radio
new
was
ground
invented
with
in
our buzz.
in
But anyway,
1899.
that's the question I
Okay,
was asking you, Governor
shut the
DeSantis,
fuck up,
about
breaking new
education.
ground here,
The
dude.
media
All
has
the
been,
fucking
saying you're
Elon
gonna
dick
ban
riders are
books,
so
you
pissed off at me
teach
on
kids
fucking
about
Twitter
slavery, you want to say that
because of the
people
radio
don't
tweet
exist.
that I had.
What
It's
is the
hilarious,
truth of
dude.
the matter for people who maybe have never heard from you before? And then I want to pull Chris Rufo in on this as well.
Yeah, so the whole book ban thing is a hoax. There's not been a single book banned in the state of Florida. You can go buy or use whatever book you
Multicast
want.
versus
What
unicast,
we
a bad
have done is
comparison.
empowered parents with the ability to
I don't
review
think
the
radio was
curriculum,
connected to a
know
server
which
that
books
generated
are
traffic for
being
hundreds of
used
millions of
in
users.
school,
It doesn't
and then
matter.
to ensure that those
It
books
doesn't matter,
match
you
state
fucking idiot.
standards
It was
and are
capable of
aged
broadcasting audio to
intellectually
millions,
appropriate. So, for
hundreds of millions of
example,
people.
parents
Shut
have
the
flagged
fuck up.
books in
You are so
schools
stupid. Then
that,
use the
for
radio.
example,
Then use the radio.
teach
That's
middle
the
school
point.
kids how
You
to
guys are
use
so
sex
fucking
apps,
stupid.
that
Also,
provide
it doesn't
graphic
matter.
depictions of
It doesn't
sex
matter
apps
because
and
there
sex
are
toys
plenty
for
of other
people
channels
as
out
young
there,
as fifth
television
grade.
and other
And so clearly
internet
that is not
channels out there where
appropriate
you can
to be in a middle
multicast,
school
where you can
classroom,
actually
and so
fucking
parents object,
literally
and
broadcast
schools
in real
take them
time
out.
to hundreds of millions.
I did a press conference that we called Exposing the Book Ban Hoax. And before I had the parents come up, before I spoke, I just played the video that had the images of the book.
Why don't you stream on radio? Because I'm on a platform that allows me to fucking reach out to hundreds of thousands of people in real time without interruptions.
Too graphic.
Unless it's the top of the hour ad break,
6 o'clock news. How is it okay?
which comes at the top of every hour, but you can pay not $8, but $5 a month
ensuring that we
to avoid
curation
said
choices,
interactions or
that
said
are consistent with state standards. And on the racial history,
interruptions.
we eliminated critical race theory from our K through 12 schools. That was the right thing to do. In other words, we're not going to take a kid who comes in at 6 years old and say they're an oppressor or oppressed based on what their race is.
You can also
That's
get it for free
divisive,
with the
that's
Twitch
wrong.
Prime.
We're also not going to be teaching
Or get
people,
gifted a sub if you're
to hate their
lucky.
country, but
Here's
what
a
we are
3-minute
gonna
ad
do
break
is
now.
teach the accurate history. So
Dynamic
in the
Jab
same
13, thank you for the
bill
5
that
gifted.
banned critical race theory, we
Henry Andrew Hank,
required
thank you for the 5 gifted.
teaching thoroughly about racial discrimination that occurred in American
So
history.
it's different. So
Florida's
breaking ground would be an
history
okay thing to say.
require all of those
So it's different,
subjects,
but you just don't care about the other
slavery,
factors. So it's different.
Reconstruction,
Dude,
segregation,
you're different
all of that
from
to
like
be
a normal
taught,
person with an
and we'll
actively
continue to
functioning
do
brain.
that. So I think what you see
You're
is
so fucking
the
stupid.
left
They're
and the
broadcasting
media
audio over
colluding on
Twitter, you
this. They
fucking
don't
idiot.
wanna actually
We can broadcast
defend
audio
what
and
it
video
is
in real
that
time,
we are
and you
actually
fucking
legislating
mentally
or
stunted,
regulating,
adolescent,
so they
diaper-wearing
create these hoaxes
dipshits
that
can come in
somehow
here
you
and
don't
write
want
shit back in real
kids to
time,
learn,
and I can react
that
in real
slavery
time.
existed in
So it's
America,
not
which
different,
is
is it?
preposterous.
It's just that
No
it's
one
different
actually
because this doesn't
defends
fucking work.
the offending
That's why it's
theory.
different.
The question is
You
why are
fucking
they so
idiot!
intent
God!
on trying to
I
get
hate the
this stuff
stupidity. It's
into
not the
classroom?
racism. It's not the
And I think it's part
sexism.
of
It's not the
the
fucking
political agenda. So
homophobia. It's the
our
stupidity
Florida
that
is
makes me go
versus
crazy.
schools is
Like I'm Al
education,
Pacino in
not
Heat.
indoctrination.
Fuck!
Yes, I think it's very
With your
inappropriate
tight
to use
ass!
sexually explicit material in a 5th grade library, 100%. But it's also the case that if you're focusing on that type of instruction, there's an opportunity cost involved. Why shouldn't we
This is
focus more on
different than
science or
radio.
reading or math? And so I think we're getting it right. And I think
That's an
almost
old ass
invariably,
reference. Many of you
Chris
Zoomers
Rufo
don't
has to deal
know.
with
I
this
just watched it
too.
recently.
When they're trying to craft these narratives, if you just peel back the onion, you realize that this is something they're manufacturing.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I mean, I was actually under the impression that there were some books banned, so this is news to me.
And they actually, there was the one this week was that Miami
Got a
Dade
great ass.
took a book that was about like poems from I think like Biden's inauguration, and they moved it from elementary school library to middle school library. The media tried to act like somehow this is being banned, and you actually had Miami-Dade County Public Schools spokesperson.
Bro,
have to
all
come
I'm going to
out and
say is
there's nothing
thank
that's been
fucking
banned or
God. Okay, this is so boring. Thank God Marat's fucking SpaceX launched satellite actually worked. Holy fuck. You do not launch with Elon Musk. Everyone knows this, okay? Thank fucking God. And that took like 8 tries too, so remember that. But oh my God, dude, imagine if he fucked over my brother's satellite in the same way that he just destroyed Ron DeSantis's like opening sequence. Oh my God, I would have lost my fucking mind, dude. Holy shit.
Woke test. And if they don't, they are going against some of those books. Whereas in Florida, you can buy whatever book you want. But that's a different question than what would be appropriate for a third grader or what would be appropriate for a sixth grader. Government, by definition, has to make those choices.
Cat turd is gone.
About what type of curriculum we want to put in front of our students. And the
cat
parents
turd
obviously have an important voice in that.
That's my first ever cat turd like.
Absolutely. Well, in fact,
we're rocking with Trump so hard after this, boys.
Has a blog called Wait But Why, and he's really one of the most reasonable people on earth and one of the most reasoned people I've ever met. Had a lot of trouble actually publishing his book, simply because it debated sort of sacred cows of woke ideology. But an incredibly reasonable book. So that is the kind of de facto book banning and de facto book suppression that I see quite a lot of, is that publishers are unwilling to take risks.
Let me shift gears here for a second, because I know we're running out of time. We're supposed to end, I think, around 4 Pacific, but thank you for giving us a little bit of extra time here, Governor. Shifting gears to a major federal issue, immigration. We see I've seen these videos on social media and on TV of what looks like just insanity at the border. What is your take on what's going on there, and how would you address that as president?
Well, I'd reverse what Biden's doing. You need to shut the border down. You should not be entertaining these asylum claims for people crossing illegally. You know, asylum is a legitimate thing, but these are people that when they come, I mean, they're being persecuted. These people coming overwhelmingly are economic migrants that are coming across many other different countries. They should be applying for asylum there if they were, truly.
It's the law. Why are they?
They just show
Why
up
are
at the southern border.
Why are the migrants coming to get a job here?
Coming illegally. They know
just say racist shit, you fucking idiot.
Okay, come back for a court date in
just say something right. Just use a slur.
It's an
spice it up.
Insane
You're
system.
fucking so cooked. Say the B word when referencing like Latino people or something. You are so cooked otherwise, okay? Even the fucking dumbasses in like Louisiana and everywhere. Even what was the lady? What was the lady who like who ran Kelly? What was it? Kelly Loeffler or something? Remember her? That forgettable fucking idiot. Even she had the decency to like stand side by side with white supremacists. No, not Carrie Lake. Kelly Loeffler in Georgia ran and stood side by side with like actual white supremacists, so she could get a little bit of momentum going for her campaign. Okay,
with the fentanyl,
he's so stupid. He's so dumb.
Doing something they probably shouldn't do, but in prior generations would not have been fatal.
Like you have to throw red meat at your base, you fucking idiot. Just hire me. I will help run your campaign. You are so stupid.
Epidemic. And I just don't think you could allow.
You're so bad. You're so stupid. You are going to get fucking cooked. Unless you think Trump is definitely going to jail, and maybe you can make an appeal to like some centrist Democrats that read the New York Times or something. You're fucking cooked, dog. You're so dumb.
Insanity once and for all.
The primary base wants you to say, execute LGBT on site. They don't want you to do like this whole nonsensical bullshit like, no, technically, no. Technically, no books are banned in Florida. Like, no, they want you to burn the books, okay? They want you to burn the books. They want you to burn the books publicly and be like, are you triggered now, liberals? This is what I think of your woke ideology. Wait, is it over? What's going on?
If Steve can unmute, then we'll go ahead and ask him for a question. If not, we'll keep rolling here. All right, 3, 2, going.
I'm there,
all right,
guys.
sorry, Steve.
I'm there, guys.
Oh, there you go. All right.
Yeah, my bad.
Steve was cranking it, dude.
Massey said to Elon, Elon, if I put down money on January 1st, 2022,
bro, they're more obsessed with Elon than they are with Ron DeSantis. This is literally an Elon fuckfest.
I'd be about as rich as you are on that bet right now. I mean, it's incredible what you have done here, and the restoration of a lot of accounts of people that were truth tellers and were ran from here for telling the truth. I saw a meme the other day that said, of course you have scientific consensus when you censor all the scientists.
I saw a
disagree.
meme the other
So
day.
I wanted to just say
This is
first and
Ron
foremost, on behalf
DeSantis.
of a lot of
This is
grateful
Ron
people around the
DeSantis'
country and the
campaign.
world, really.
Elon is getting
Thank you very
throated
much
by a
for,
guy who said, I saw a
the
meme the other
investment you made
day.
in that cause. Thank you.
This is disastrous,
a question
dude.
is a follow-up to you, Governor, on this very issue with immigration. We have heard a lot over the years.
Let me tell you something.
Lock her up.
Ron is probably so
swamp,
mad it's insane. I
build a
fucking doubt it,
wall.
dog. You want to know
Mexico's gonna
why?
pay for it, and
Because he's
crowds
too
cheer,
stupid to
and
recognize how
everybody loved
fucked
it,
he
and
is.
brands got built and nothing got
I don't
done.
even think he's pissed off. He probably thinks,
What is
oh,
the
this went
bottom line
great.
assurance that you can make to the people that are listening right now, all over the world and all over the country, that you can actually do the agenda that you just articulated when others tweeted about it and talked about it, but then couldn't actually follow through?
It's a great question because I share that frustration. I
Oh
think
my God, they're
even
asking him
my worst
podcast
critics in
questions.
Florida will acknowledge.
Oh my
When
God,
I
they're
tell
asking him
people I'm
podcast bro
gonna do
questions.
something, I don't make promises or say I'm going to do something lightly. I've thought
They're gonna
it
be like,
through,
tell us
and
about
I
a
know
time
that
where
I
you
am
felt
gonna follow
conflicted
through
in your
on
history.
what I tell people
They're about to
I'm gonna
ask him
do.
about
So
like
this
fucking
is
PUA
one,
shit.
there will be follow through.
Here is
Number two,
Red Pill Groiper
I
1344
understand the different leverage
asking you a
points
question
that you
about
would have under
why
Article
women are
2 of the
bitches and should
Constitution.
remain in
I
the
studied
kitchen,
that a
and
lot
how
becoming
you will
governor
get
about
that,
Florida's
how you will
Constitution,
make it
doing
happen.
the same thing for the federal Constitution. And you've got to know how to use your leverage to advance what you're trying to accomplish. So, for example, there's leverage that we can use vis-a-vis Mexico that I think presidents have not been willing to do. I think sometimes for political purposes. But I'll look at, okay, what are all the variety of options we can do? Which buttons can I push? And I will do that to be able to bring this issue to a conclusion once and for all. We had Hurricane Ian come through Southwest Florida, Category 4 plus storm, September of 2022, and it did a lot of damage. But one of the things it did, it knocked out a bridge going from the mainland to Pine Island, and it severed the Sanibel Causeway in 3 different locations. And the locals were being told it's going to take 6 months to get that stuff repaired. And so they came to me, even though these were not state-owned bridges, and they said, can you help us? And I said, okay, I'll do it. So I got my guys together. I said, listen, no bureaucracy.
Do you idiotic
no
liberals
red
do not
tape,
understand
and
that we
no
know
excuses.
DeSantis is our best chance to win the
Get it
presidency? No
done.
shit, you
We
guys
need
want
to
Trump
open
to
these
win?
bridges back.
Dude, that's
Pine
awesome.
Island Bridge reopened
You're
3
so
days
dude,
later.
they have
Sanibel
dude, they have
Causeway opened
Democratic
2
Party
weeks after
style
that,
followers now in the
way
Republican
ahead of
Party.
schedule,
That's so
because we wouldn't
sick. They
take
got
no for an
libtards in
answer,
the
and we wanted
Republican
to make
Party.
sure we got it
That's
done. So
fire.
for me, it is not
Keep it
a
up, brother.
campaign,
I believe in you.
slogan
Keep
that
fighting,
get
you
in
good
and then
fight.
forget about it. I'm, as an American citizen, if I wasn't running, this would be an issue that bothers me. I've put a lot of my capital as Florida governor
Another
involved
Tim Pool
in
lock.
combating illegal immigration. We banned sanctuary cities my first year. We just did a strong anti-illegal immigration
Dude, we're
bill
about
in
to
Florida
get
that's
some
working.
real
I
he would
put
win if you
Marine
vote for
assets in
him
the Florida
energy
Keys
from
to
these
help the
like
Coast Guard
centrist
repel boats
Republicans,
from
which I didn't
places
even know
like Haiti.
existed.
I have people at the southern border right now helping Texas, and we've even been able to relocate illegal aliens to places like Martha's Vineyard. So I don't think any governor has probably gone out of his way to do
Bro,
more
thinking he's
to
owning
try
the
to make an
libs.
impact on this issue.
Bro, he
And
can't even
I'm
own the
not going to
medium.
take no for an answer. And I think our voters are sick of the empty promises. They want to see action.
Thank you, Governor.
Well, Governor, I saw you on the cover of Time Magazine this week, and I think they were trying to do a negative story because they had you were sort of scowling in this portrait.
Who are these unfuckable losers,
the article,
man? They are so
you,
bad.
they compared you to the Terminator, and I think they meant an insult, but I thought it was kind of cool. I thought it was a good thing because I think we need a cool-headed, ruthless assassin to go in and basically take on the woke mob, take on our out-of-control government, and take on problems like the ones at the border. So, again, I thought it made you sound great, even though that may not have been their intention.
Well, look, at the end of the day, this whole business that we're in is about producing results. I don't care about fanfare. I'm the governor, like that is, I'm known, right? And I go around the state and everything, and people are very nice. And so, I appreciate the well wishes, but I don't need any of the fanfare. I don't need any adulation. I just know I'm in a position where I have a chance.
Bro,
to
you
make
got
a
no
difference,
backers in the Republican
and I'm
Party,
either
first of
doing it or
all.
I'm
You've
not.
paid
I
for
remember
a bunch
sitting
of
at the
people
desk
to be on your
in,
team, but that's
in the
it.
state
You're
capitol
so
my
cooked.
first day as governor 4.5 years ago. I looked around the room and I thought to myself, I don't know what SOB is going to succeed me in this chair, but they are not going to have anything to do because I'm getting all the meat off the bone. I'm going to make sure that I'm
for a
leading
guy
these
who ran as
issues
"Don't say
and making
gay"
an
as a
impact.
major
And we have
policy.
done that
I've
in the
never
state of
seen so
Florida.
many grown
I
men
bring
suck
that
each other's
exact
cocks
attitude,
in front of this
up
many
to,
people. Okay,
1600 Pennsylvania
he's getting
Avenue.
sucked. He's doing the
Governor, I'd
sucking.
love
He's getting
to
fucked.
jump
He's
in
doing the
and follow
fucking.
up on that. This is
It's a
Chris Rufo,
real
and
lemon
I've had the
party.
honor of working with
Okay,
you in the past few years on critical race theory, gender ideology, and the DEI bureaucracy. And what I've seen
they have
up
Christopher
close and
Rufo
personal
on.
is that while many
This
conservative
fucking
politicians
loser.
going back decades have made headlines,
Christopher Rufo literally lost the Republican
culture war, they never
midterms,
actually
man.
get anything done. And what you've done over the last few years is really astonishing. You've eliminated CRT from all Florida's public institutions. You've stopped gender ideology dead in its tracks in K through 12. And just last week, you eliminated
stopped
the
gender
DEI
ideology
bureaucracy
dead
in
in
all
its
of Florida's
tracks, sir.
public
Thank you.
universities. They'll be shut down completely. And I think what you've done is established a blueprint for fighting back against the left's long march of the institutions and making sure that those institutions reflect the value of Florida voters, not left-wing activists and the partisan press. So my question for you is, DC is another animal. It's quite different, the scale of the federal government. And how are you going to deliver results? And what is your culture war strategy facing down the swamp in DC?
He blowing bubbles on it. Oh no!
In this respect, when we're taking on things like DEI, you get blowback from legacy media and the far left. But that's an example of an issue where they are out of step with the vast majority of Americans. It's not just Republicans. It's independents and a lot of Democrats. Because you think about if you're a parent and you've got kids, you want to know when they apply to college, they're going to be judged based on their merit. And they're not going to be roadkill in some type of woke Olympics where they didn't fit some category and so they're denied opportunity. They want to make sure that achievement matters. And so we get a lot of quiet support for a lot of those things. And so I think what I do, just because, look, I'm a blue collar kid. I grew up in the Tampa Bay area, working minimum wage to get through school. My grandfather worked in the steel mill in Western Pennsylvania. I just know instinctively kind of what like normal people think about all this stuff. And I have a good sense of when the legacy media and the left are outside of where the average American is, because people want you to be using common sense. And things like DEI, I mean, when I was growing up, I think things were better because people were actually told you should try to get along. Now they're told you need to segregate. And it's just crazy that they're trying to do all this stuff. So by eliminating that, there's a lot of people that were really happy about that, including people that certainly are not traditional Republicans. And I think there's similar issues when you do in the federal level. It's also the case that there are some tools at the federal level that we don't necessarily have at the state level. For example, some of the problems with the university and the ideological capture, that didn't happen by accident, can trace back all the way to the accreditation cartels. Well, guess what? To become an accreditor, how do you do that? You've got to get approved by the U.S. Department of Education. So we're going to be doing alternative accreditation regimes where instead of saying you will only get accredited if you do DEI, you'll have an accreditor that will say, we will not accredit you if you do DEI. We want a colorblind,
the whole point of like destroying woke agenda shit is not for the nerdy bureaucracy of it. It's to fucking own the libs. Okay? If you're over here talking about how I'm going to destroy DEI through the institutional powers afforded to me by the Constitution, nobody's paying attention to that. The people that want you to burn books want you to just say, I'm burning books, you fucking idiot. Stop. This is literally the Elizabeth Warren method, dude. Looking at Bernie Sanders' success and then trying to do the Elizabeth Warren style, like, well, we're going to make the military more green. Like, you're so fucking stupid.
Moored in a more foundational direction about, hey, we're pursuing truth here, and we're not here to try to impose one niche ideology on the entire student body.
Oof.
Great. Shifting gears. Dana Lash, you have a question or comment?
Dana is paid for by the fucking DeSantis
thank you both,
campaign.
So much for your time, for joining us in a very new way. I really appreciate that. I think it's really cool. And for your support of free speech too. And Elon, I have to say thank you for taking the arrows and for unthrottling the accounts of all of us who got in trouble for sharing a New York Post story about a laptop. And Governor,
what's it going to take for you to stop chewing to the fucking mic? I mean, what's it going to take for you to shut the fuck up? Oh, you're banned now.
Second Amendment rights. And You're on my program tomorrow, and I just got to say, you got my vote in the primary, so I appreciate it very much. You were talking about DEI just a minute ago,
Audio
and I want to
pedophile,
ask
be
you both
gone.
about this growing threat against natural rights and free enterprise. It's this threat of debanking. Now, I know that, Elon, I've read so much about you and what you've gone through. You've called ESG criteria evil incarnate. Governor DeSantis, Florida, saw financially weaponized wokery earlier this year when Wells Fargo Bank dumped both the business and personal accounts of a very prominent and well-respected gun dealer in Florida. They'd been together for 25 years working with Wells Fargo, and they cited new ESG guidelines. Now, similar to the DOJ's previous Operation Choke Point, all these activists for various causes are using this regulatory guidance to debank what they consider to be politically incorrect businesses for the sake of risk management. Now, we say that our rights should not be infringed upon by the government, but what can and should be done about activist-guided financial institutions and these payment
What the
processors who are
fuck?
essentially cutting off law-abiding citizens and businesses?
How will you
Well, I think
prosecute
it's a
PayPal?
fundamental issue that I think not enough conservatives have been wise to. I think more and more are. But at the end of the day, we have certain fundamental rights, and so maybe you're somebody that is, really excited about your Second Amendment rights. And obviously, if the government comes in and infringes that, we know you blow the whistle on that. That's a problem. But what if Wall Street banks are colluding so that somebody can't function in that space, whether it's running a store or anything involving that? Your rights are still being infringed upon in that situation. And so I think this whole ESG movement is really trying to do through the financial sector what they could never achieve through the ballot box. And so they're trying to do an end run around the constitutional system, and they're really trying to change policy. They're trying to change society. And they're trying to change the scope of people's rights. And so in Florida, I just signed anti-ESG legislation, which said things like no ESG criteria in our pension fund. We got a $180 billion state pension fund, no social credit scores for consumers when they're going to bank. In other words, if you apply for a loan, that loan should be judged based on your credit worthiness, not whether you're genuflecting to the appropriate left-wing causes. But one thing we did do is we did provide protection against this debanking with the woke banking. No discrimination based on your religion and other things, which we know is happening. So I think it's a fundamental question, but we will not be a free society if major financial
Yeah,
institutions
I'm gonna be
can
honest.
do
This
through
goes
the
back
econ-
to my main point of contention with this. Okay, I said this like I said this last year when we were talking about like Ron DeSantis's bona fides, right? Because like Ethan was like very afraid, Austin was very afraid of Ron DeSantis. Do you remember? And I told you guys something even back then. If Ron DeSantis wants to win, he's fucked. One, because he's following Trump's lead, obviously, but like he literally is in every Republican, as a matter of fact, is in a horrible situation now, where their primary audience and the general audience are very different, right? The primary voter base and the general voter base are very different. So if you're trying to triangulate to the primary base and you're actually like advocating for insane policies, you have to be able to have the charisma, like the once in a lifetime charisma, like Donald Trump, to be able to push for that kind of thing. But if you do that, then you're fucking up your chances with the general voter population, okay? And you're fucking up your chances with the Republican Party who wants to prop you up. Okay? The Republican Party is not going to prop you up if you're going freak mode. They're asking him about cryptocurrency? Oh my God.
Represents a threat to them. And so, as you're saying, they're trying to regulate it out of existence. Look, could Congress enact a statute to ban things like Bitcoin under the Constitution? They may be able to do. I would oppose that. I think people should be able to do Bitcoin.
I've told you they're
Congress
fucking
has
asking him
never addressed
podcast bro
this,
questions now.
in this fashion, and for the bureaucracy to just do it on their own and make it so people can't operate in that space. That's what we mean when we say we've got to return the government to the people elected representatives who are our voice to be able to make these
Yeah,
decisions.
Trump was barely
So,
online. He just posted a lot.
as
He genuinely
president,
doesn't
we'll
have the attention
protect,
span to wade deep through the psychotic culture war stuff, even though he probably agrees with it.
like Bitcoin.
The
I
DeSantis
think
operation
these
is
are
all
people
about
that
attracting
are
and appeasing those online culture
sophisticated.
warriors.
They can
It
make
failed with
decisions.
Blake
There's risks
Masters.
involved with it. But
Why
let
would it
them
work
do
with
that.
Rhonda?
I just do not have an itch to have to control everything.
They're
that
running
people
Blake
may be
Masters
doing,
again.
in this space, and I think that the current regime clearly they have it out for Bitcoin, and if it continues for another 4 years, they'll probably end up killing
Yeah, he's really gonna win the
I think
crypto
you're right, and I think
maximalists
that
with
is the
this
strong
one, a big
feeling of people
constituency.
in Silicon Valley.
Listen, man,
space,
all the
and I think
crypto
it'd be, heartened
maximalists
to hear your
have
answer on
already
that. I mean,
killed
the weird thing
themselves
is
because
that-
their crypto,
and
their
there's a
shitcoin that they
huge,
invested into
consistency of crypto
fell
Twitter.
apart. And
So
their
for people
wife
who
left
are maybe
them,
part of
and the
political
children
Twitter
think they're
who are
fucking
wondering why we're
losers.
talking
Okay,
about
they
this,
can't vote for
it
you because
really
they're dead.
has a big
They
audience for
dove
this
into a
topic.
fucking bathtub with a toaster after their 11th
Yeah.
shitcoin popped
Bitcoin and
off.
Dogecoin.
What
So
the
shout out
fuck
to
do
all
you
the
mean?
Doge,
Who are you
Doge
going
fans
to
out
run?
there.
Who are you
But
running
the weird
for?
thing is that this administration, they seem to want to ban Bitcoin, but they want to create a CBDC, which stands for a central bank digital currency.
You literally just talk out of your ass,
what's
go
your
take a
take on
shower,
that?
you stinky son of a bitch.
So we were the first state just last month. We actually got the Florida legislature to
When I got
pass a
motherfuckers
law
with this
that says
avatar,
Florida does not recognize
when I got
central
motherfuckers
bank
with this
digital
avatar
currency,
calling
but
me
some states
stinky,
were
you
actually
know,
adding that to their uniform
I'm the
code.
most showered
I
motherfucker
know
on the
the federal
planet.
government's studying this. We did the
That's your
opposite. They
PFP dog.
said,
I
now,
am
the reason
literally
why
the
we did
most
that is
showered
what the
motherfucker on the
Federal
planet.
Reserve has said
Okay,
as well. We're
that's
gonna consult
projection.
with Congress. We'll consult with the executive branch. We don't have a CBDC right now, and ideally, we would get authorization for Congress. Well, wait a minute. It's not ideally. You must get authorization from Congress. I don't think Congress would.
Love how
authorize
angry
it.
Hassan gets
So
about
they
this. Little brain, big
unilaterally
body,
try to do
Bushido
this. We're
blade.
trying to provide protection for people here in Florida. I know Biden did executive order. They're studying it. I can tell you, if I'm president, we are not doing a central bank digital currency. I think that would be a huge, huge imposition on people's financial freedoms and financial privacy. And oh, by the way, what would the logical result of this be? If the central authority has oversight over this, of course they're going to start imposing ESG criteria. Oh, wait a minute. You filled up your gas tank 3 times this week. You can't do any more. The sky of how they would be able to manipulate this. So I see it as a massive transfer of power from individual consumers to a central authority. And I don't think that's good for a free society. So I'm a no on central bank digital currency.
Wow,
Yeah.
thank God.
Well, Governor, I want to.
This is a really important question. I'm glad he
for hours
addressed
here,
it.
But I know you only had an hour, and we've gone over that. So I want to be
Dude, is there more?
time.
Are there more
I know
like
there's so many
fucking
people wanna ask
random petty
questions.
online
We should do it
squabbles you
again.
want to
I mean, I know
address?
it's
Yeah.
fun.
You
I think
fucking
this is great,
idiots.
and,
DeSantis,
we'll
you're
make
so
sure that,
stupid. You
that
stupid
we come back
motherfucker.
and
You
do it again.
dumb meatball. Fuck you. What the fuck? I thought you could at least have a little bit of fucking life so that this could be a long enough campaign for us to enjoy the content of. You just fucking ethered your own goddamn self talking about cryptocurrency and Dogecoin when you're announcing your presidential run. What the fuck is wrong with you, man? What? Ask him more about memes, guys. Ask him about memes, please.
In November of 2024. God bless everybody, and thank you.
Well, thanks, Governor. And yeah, we have over 300,000 people in the room. It's really been pretty incredible. And, we started with some technical issues because of the sheer scale of and unprecedented nature of what we were doing. But it's not how you start, it's how you finish. And I think this finished really strong. So,
yeah, I think it's just
Oh,
really great
yeah,
for
dude, copium.
the people to hear directly from presidential candidates and to have it in a conversational tone, which obviously results in, it's going to be imperfect because it's not scripted. So, but it's genuine. And I think that really gives the people an opportunity to understand who might be their president in a way that's real. So thank you very much for coming on and doing this.
And the invitation's open to any other candidates who might want to do this.
Absolutely. It is important for people to hear directly from candidates. So thank you for working with us on this historic event. And looking forward to
thank
future
you.
conversations
Sorry.
and just
this was
having a great
incredible.
next
Bro.
Alrighty, everybody. Thank you for just.
Bye.
Bro,
Bye-bye.
Elon dick riders are so fucking funny. They will never They will never not be entertaining, no matter how fucking stupid they are, no matter how much I yell at them, because sometimes they get too dumb in the chat. The idea that, like, this is history is so fucking funny. Like, fireside chats exist, okay? Number one, they did not reinvent the medium. They tried and failed to do what radio's been doing for, like, hundreds of years, okay? They could have done this as a Twitch stream, and it would have been more viable, and it would have been more successful, and more eyeballs would have seen it, okay? It is so fucking stupid. It is so Jover. And even then, it was an embarrassingly small number of people that tuned in, okay? Even at 400,000, that is an embarrassingly low number of people tuning in. eBay fucking clears Ron DeSantis and Elon Musk. Remember, that's the entire platform backing him, okay? Cutie Cinderella has had higher viewership. Are you fucking joking? Are you joking? Asmongold has had higher viewership. Get the fuck out of here. Much hype, Ron DeSantis presidential announcement, a disaster on Twitter. Now they're fucking grilling him. Why? Because there's two different reasons. Because DeSantis sidestepped Rupert Murdoch and went to fucking Twitter. Okay? So it's like, of course they're going to fuck him over, because now they're like, oh, you're eating crow. Have fun. Have fun with that. Good job on going to Twitter. Okay? It's so stupid, dude. It is so pathetic. It's so profoundly stupid that he did this. Like, I don't know. I don't know where to begin. I don't know where to start. I don't know where to begin. I don't know where to end this. Like, this is preposterous, but also hilarious. Thank you so much. I just want to thank Ron DeSantis for giving us content. I'm a little upset. Because I thought his campaign would have more life in it so that we could potentially, make fun of it for longer. It does strike me as a dead campaign now. Hopefully there's still a little bit more life in it. You know what I mean? Hopefully, for our sake. But it is absolutely unimaginably stupid. Crashing was way more content than the actual talk. That was so fucking boring. The talk was boring. Ron DeSantis and the way he has triangulated himself is already stupid. He's like backed himself into a corner. Is he the crazy own the libs guy who's doing crazy fascist policies? Or is he the civility guy who's going to restore sanity? Remember, he started off by saying he's going to restore sanity. Are you Hillary Clinton? Are you Hillary Clinton? He even used the Obama reference. He said we must not look backwards, we must look forward. He's got a shit ton of money, though. It doesn't matter. You can have a shit ton of money. So did fucking, Michael Bloomberg got a shit ton of money in the Democratic primaries. How far did that get him? So did that other billionaire guy whose name I forgot already from California. It was so boring, your viewership wasn't even above normal levels, which basically means it was a normal news day. That's what I'm saying. Now, Donald Trump just released a video mocking Ronald McDonald DeSantis. Let's take a look.
We are kind of melting the servers. To freedom, and is willing to put his money where his mouth is, upset the narrative control imposed on us by our government.
It's over.
Have Governor DeSantis make this. We're just trying.
Dude, there are so many parts of this that you could fucking absolutely rip apart. Like, talking about memes, talking about cryptocurrency. Are you fucking joking, dude? You didn't vet the people who are going to question you? What are you, fucking stupid? Are you that desperate? Are you that stupid? You really thought this was going to work? Oh, God, he's so stupid. He never had a chance to begin with. Yes. He never had a chance to begin with.
That people keep pushing back.
Okay. But, like, he buried the fraction of a shot that he had. At this point, any money that the Republican Party is giving to Ron DeSantis, specifically so that he could be like the guy, a tempered Trump, is already, it's done. It's time to go. Was I a good campaign? No.